Hi, students. This is Adam. I will be your teacher for this class, this course. It's called World History 1, and I'm excited. I'm happy to be able to do this class with you, and I hope you would be able to learn a lot of things about this. First and foremost, what is World History 1 course all about? In this lesson or in this course, we would be learning a lot of things about developments, about history events, about we would even be talking about political, social, and economic and cultural developments. So we would be able to not just focus on our country or a certain country or like Cambodian history or Asian history, but rather we would go global. We would study the history of the world. So we would be having a wider understanding of what happened in the history. But yeah, we would also start in Neolithic revolution. That's on the slide. That's what we're going to start with. How did the like what this Neolithic revolution is what we call Stone Age, and how we were able to see back in the past the development, and we would also jump on the agricultural revolution. So before we proceed to the whole or the entire lesson, let me teach you or let me discuss to you the terminologies or terms that we should learn and we can learn in this course. So the first one is historian. It means studying the written records, meaning these are the situations wherein a lot of people tried to or did study the written records or the history, the written history back in the past. So these are historians. Next one is archaeologist. It means digging in the ground to find, label, analyze, and categorize artifacts. These are, when you say archaeologists, particularly on digging in to discover. Next is anthropologist. When you say anthropologist, it means a broad view of human culture, meaning like that would be lifestyle, how they would do like or discover food or find food or agriculture and all that stuff. So that's our anthropologist. The next term is what we call geographer. Geographer is the study of the physical processes of the earth. These are the people who would study the map or I guess the mountains, lakes, and other things on the map or on the earth. So that would be geographer. This is a person who likes to study geography or who studies geography. Next is primary source. When you say primary source, these are the information collected firsthand. These are original discoveries and learnings. On the other hand, secondary source are information that has been gathered by researchers, meaning these are the information that you would find in textbooks or internet. So that's what secondary source is. And lastly is the artifact. Artifacts are basically object made by human beings. For example, jars and um, other things that they would be able to make. Um, for themselves or for their lifestyle. So, yeah, that's what artifact is. So the key understanding of this course is that the advances in agriculture create a stable food supply, which allows for the development of urban population and cultural traits. So it is important that you would see the development or advances in agriculture because these are the things that have helped the people in the past to progress or develop in terms of agriculture or being able to find the food. That's why I was explaining or I mentioned earlier about the agriculture revolution. So you would probably wonder was it like back then to find food, or like what was life before agriculture. So in terms of food supply, they would, instead of producing food, they would just gather food. That's why they're called nomadic. Back in the past, the people are called nomadic because they would just roam around different places. So if the food in that area is already done or is already consumed, the people or a man would move on to a different location wherein he or she can find food supply. So it's like following the migration of the pattern of the herds or animals, because they would think that where the animals would go, there would be food supply as well. So that's what life was before agriculture. So they would just gather food, or like transfer from places to places. And in terms of shelter, nomadic people live on what the environment can provide, such as caves. So most of the time, they would, yeah, like find shelter on the caves or in the caves. And they would also have some temporary shelters made of wood and hides. But I think during that time, caves are more in terms of like how strong the shelter is, cave is more preferred back then than woods. And there could be some like more safety in living in the cave at that time. So just like what you see on the photo, that's what was the shelter like back then. So life before agriculture in terms of society or social structure is was more based on the family. So a group of families is called a clan. Well, definitely back in those days or in those times, there isn't much population. So small unit is called, like group of families is called a clan. In terms of art and innovation, some drawings and artwork have been found, just like what you see on the slide. These are the paintings, like that one on the slide, and also primitive weapons and tools like sewing needles, use of fire. These are the art and innovation life before the agriculture revolution. With regards to specialization, so subsistence lifestyle dictated that the number one priority for all family members was to find food. So it was really, really crucial and really important back in those times that all members, not just the father or not just the mother, but all members of the family, their goal is to find food. Obviously, life before agriculture, the language is mostly verbal. There wasn't any like alphabets or letters that has been used or that were utilized at that time. Symbols were used to mark places of importance, like they would probably do some drawings and all that, symbols and signs, but there isn't really like learning how to write or read during that time with regards to language. This was the history. This was happened life before the agriculture revolution. So right here on this slide, this is the start of development of agriculture. So as the man learns to farm, he's able to settle in one place and able to acquire more things. That's why I would say that on this time, nomads or nomadic people has lessened in number, because people or a man started learning how to produce food, started planting and cultivating soil. So, although known as a revolution, these changes occurred independently throughout the world over the course of several thousand years. So, it took a lot of years before, like revolutions like this or developments like this happen. But it's throughout the world, like certain, I'd say, civilization would be able to discover it this way or at this time. But eventually, a lot of civilizations or a lot of countries have developed in terms of agriculture. So simply, life after agriculture in terms of food supply, there is food producing already, like planted, tended, harvested, and stored crops. On domesticated animals, they are used for food and beast burden. And also, hunting is one of the things that has been discovered. This is a supplementary in terms of food supply. They would hunt some animals for meat. So life after agriculture in terms of shelter, they started using mud bricks as building material. Eventually, stones were used as well, leading to rock being quarried and cut for building. So villages located near fields and other reliable food sources, rivers and sea. So in terms of putting up a shelter, they would make sure that it would be near those rivers and sea, and they would make sure that they're able to cut some stones for building. So there's really a lot of improvements in terms of, or developments in terms of agriculture, uh, or in terms of shelter after agriculture. The one that you see on the slide, on the photo, is one of those examples during a Neolithic revolution. It's called the Scarbray. It was inhabited from about 3100 BC to about 2500 BC. The village was uncovered due to a storm in 1850. This view is to the south. The half visible building beside the flag is the tourist information building. So this in itself is an evidence or a proof that there has been a Neolithic village at that time.